Hello everyone, this is 95% Rookie here. Today I'll be doing an early access overview / review. Mostly, I'll go over the content currently in the game and how well I think that content is executed. First off, I wanted to go over my mindset going into this game. For the past year, I've released videos entirely within the Arma 3 space, be it lore videos, top 10 lists, or let's plays. I'm a hardcore Arma 3 fan, but I have to say, between doing all that content and playing weekly with my group, I needed a break from Arma 3. Don't worry, I still have plans to continue mostly Arma related content in the future, but with the release of this game I had an urge to do something with it creatively. So in that way, Ready or Not is a welcome refresher to me, a breath of fresh air in tactical shooters which often focus on a shoot first, ask questions later style of gameplay. I have extensive experience with SWAT 4 and this game has a lot of similarities to that classic shooter. With that, I'll go into the first part of the video, my content overview. First off, we can't talk about a tactical shooter without going over the weapons. Ready or Not has a good selection, from standard M4A1s and HK416s to Remington 870s and MP5s, alongside typical less lethal options like beanbag shotguns and pepper ball guns. The primary weapons are about what you'd expect from a successor to SWAT 4. For sidearms, you also have a good variety, with Glock 19s mixed in with classics like a 357 revolver and the obvious taser. Some more options would be nice, but the current selection is more than adequate. Weapons have limited but sufficient customization, such as adding sights, lights, visible and IR lasers, and grips. The real star of the weapons comes to their animations, which are extremely well done and impactful. Switching fire modes changes the weapon's model and plays an animation, and they even let you put your weapons on safe. Although I can't say there's much reason to do so in a video game, I appreciate the detail. You can check how full your magazine is and do tactical and speed reloads. Weapon handling feels really good as well. If one thing I really think is missing, it's being able to choose your ammo type, such as FMJ, hollow points, and various shotgun loads, and I hope the devs add that in eventually. Now going on to equipment, you have a variety of items to get the job done. Door wedges and optiwans help you gain control of the map, while breaching shotguns, C2, and battering rams allow you to make speedy entry into rooms. For grenades, you have flashbangs, stingers, and CS gas. There are several armor and helmet options, with heavy armor providing more protection, and light and even no armor allow you to move faster. Anti-flash goggles, gas masks, face armor, and NVGs round out the MISC equipment section. It would be nice to have more tactical options such as ladders, rappelling ropes, etc., but the current setup is more than adequate. There isn't any cosmetic customization beyond premium skins you can get for buying the higher tier edition of the game. The game's non-mission time, both in multiplayer and single player, revolves around the lobby, which is a police station with several areas to it. You can practice breaching and clearing in the kill house, test your guns at the shooting range, and customize loadout and weapons at the armories. You select your mission at the desk, and then once all players stand on the mat, the mission countdown starts. It would be nice if there was some more functionality to the lobby, maybe with different kill house configurations, a more dynamic shooter range, or even some dialogue and lore sprinkled throughout, but considering the game is in early access, I think it's a good system so far. Now on to the meat of the game. There are 6 missions and 2 test levels currently in the game as of December 2021 release. Some of the missions have different game modes you can select, such as active shooter, bomb threat, hostage rescue, and raid, but most levels you can only play barricaded suspects, which is the standard mode. The missions are still pretty different and have different gameplay considerations, but in my opinion this is where the game is lacking mostly. We definitely need more missions. The game tracks your best run time and score for each mission, which gives you good reason to replay the missions that are there, and the levels have a decent amount of AI randomization allowing replays to be different enough. But I do wish we had some more randomization such as random room and door placements, different cover placement, maybe even objectives. Sometimes different mission types do have slightly different layouts, so there is that. Missions at the present moment do not have a pre-mission planning screen, and most don't even have a briefing, but I assume these will be added at a later date to be more like SWAT 4. The game allows you to play in friends-only lobbies, public lobbies, and single player, although generally I would recommend only playing with friends or in single player. Or, if you have to play with randoms, try to group up in Discord because the in-game comms are not very good, and random lobbies do not usually encourage much teamwork. That is essentially what's in the game at this point. Next, I'll go over my thoughts on the game in general. Ready or Not allows you to play the game entirely single player if you choose, and I'll go over the friendly AI to start with. In general, I think they are pretty damn good. You can change their entire loadout on the loadout screen, so pre-mission setup is crucial to getting the job done. Following your orders, they can stack up, mirror doors, wedge doors, move to markers, dynamically breach and clear rooms, deploy grenades, and arrest suspects and civilians. For the most part, it's the same as in SWAT 4, and I would even say the AI in this are superior in some ways to that game's AI partners. That said, there are still some issues. Some maps, in particular the farm, have serious pathing issues, and some doors aren't configured correctly, and it has gotten me killed in the past trying to wrangle them into doing exactly what you want to do. Civilian AI is overall adequate for what is needed, and I know lots of people have issues with civilians running off, opening doors, and in general being uncooperative. Personally, I don't have much issue with it because it just adds more gameplay complexity. It might not be super realistic, but this isn't trying to be a simulator. Realism has to take a backseat to gameplay. In that sense, while these civilians acting strangely does add difficulty, it would be nice if there was more reasons to it, such as areas where people wouldn't trust police being more non-compliant than, say, a suburban neighborhood. Suspect AI is really well done, with suspects being quite dynamic and not being afraid to move around the map. They can be very difficult, sometimes faking a surrender while pulling a pistol or bursting through a door while you are busy arresting people. They will shoot on the move and shoot through walls. Sometimes they're just too accurate shooting through walls, but I think these issues shouldn't be too hard to patch out, and I hope the Suspect AI continues to be a real challenge that they currently are. The UI in the game is good, with the command UI allowing you to quickly and easily deploy your teams, and helmet cams allowing you to see what your teammates are seeing, even in multiplayer. I do wish we had a pre-mission planning screen for planning our entry, drawing on the map, and selecting our loadouts. I also wish the game had voice commands like the SCF mod for SWAT 4, which was a surprisingly effective addition to that game. Ready or Not allows decent variety in how you approach missions. You can systematically wedge off every room and go very slowly throughout the whole building, or rapidly clear rooms to get a good time. Different missions require you to play differently, with barricaded suspects being the slowest, and active shooter forcing you to move quickly to reduce civilian casualties. The rules of engagement in this game are some of the biggest improvements I feel to the SWAT 4 system. You can usually take out a suspect immediately and not suffer a score penalty, unless they are surrendering, although there's incentive to capture suspects alive using less lethal if you want to get higher scores, since you can get a lot less points for killing them. Unauthorized use of force and deadly force are still a thing, but it's usually much fairer and clearer when you incur these. Some missions also have objectives requiring you to take suspects alive, which further incentivizes less lethal play. Although using flashbangs and stingers regularly usually allows you to clear a mission without resorting to less lethal weapons. The game's overall difficulty is at a good spot in the current moment. Once you get the game's systems down, it isn't too hard to clear most levels, apart from the farm, which is extremely difficult. However, getting A+ and S ranks are incredibly difficult on all missions, and chasing that high mark is a great amount of fun. As far as bugs go, the only major issues I've run into are the aforementioned AI pathing, and also sometimes enemy weapons will go flying through the map or to annoying spots when bombs and flashbangs go off, losing you points, which can be frustrating. Other than those and a few smaller bugs I've seen, the game is already in a highly polished state, and as for performance, I think a medium modern day rig should be able to run the game well. I give this game high marks overall, and I think the future for Ready or Not is bright. A few years back when they initially released the trailer, then the fiasco that was the alpha multiplayer, I was highly skeptical, and I'm happy to say that they have redeemed themselves in my eyes. I would recommend hopping into this game now before the price increases, provided you don't mind replaying maps you've already played. If you have a group of friends to play with, even better. If you like this video, please subscribe and share, and I'll leave you off with a little montage of some gameplay moments.